Well, I'm working mainly on Chinese history, and I think over the long term of Chinese history, what struck me probably most is the strength of the cultural entity that is China. China, in my view, defines itself mainly through the continuity, and this is something that, in my view, goes until today, which also formed a center of orientation for many countries in Eastern Asia. If you look at, let's say, Vietnam, Japan, Korea, who all adapted parts of Chinese culture, Chinese writing, Chinese thought, religion, and so forth. So this was is for me like one of the core characteristics of China over the ages. And this brings me to a second thing that is particularly part of my research, which is the question of China's path into modernity. When you think of like China today, you come to the question, you have a traditional China, you have the modern China, sometimes the very modern China. And what is the relation between both? What role does tradition still play in contemporary China? Because this is also very important, I think, for the identity of modern Chinese people. This is something I find both fascinating to study and very, very interesting, how China has found and sought an own path into modernity. There's not one path into modernity, but that each civilization or even countries will look for their own way how to apply this. And this doesn't mean that this happens in a certain order, that things don't happen at the same time or at the same speed. Leibniz was a German philosopher, thinker, and universal academic. He probably is one of the first regarded Chinese civilization as equal to the Western civilization. I think this attitude is something we probably can learn from also for the present, which means, for one part, a fresh and unbiased look at China, the eagerness to learn and gather information and also see the world and see things through the Chinese eyes, not only through the Western glasses and in the Western views and amongst Western narratives, but basically beyond these narratives and beyond bias, just to have a fresh and interested look. I think these initiatives are something that can be very positive. They can have a very helpful impact on the exchange in in international politics today. I think one of the basic problems is that in Europe or in the Western countries, many of these Chinese initiatives are not taken seriously. I suggest that why shouldn't the Western countries for once take some of these initiatives serious and start a dialogue on this and then see how China performs, because then we can put to the test if these are just nice words or if China can be an ally if we want to uphold international institutions, international exchange, peacekeeping missions, and of course a better mutual understanding. What we need is exchange between people. And by people, I mean, of course, politicians on one hand, but also just normal people, to get an expression what normal Germans, normal Chinese are like. And therefore, I'm very much in favor that we should again promote the exchange mainly between young people. Be it pupils, students from schools, from universities, because I think young people are much more open and much more eager to learn and also willing to take into account new impressions and new information. And probably by this we can foster a new generation that will form a basis for a better mutual understanding. So I think dialogue is the very core if we want to reach a better understanding.